Hello everybody, welcome to Average Poker. I'm here with vlog number 2. I'm going to start the video by shouting out everybody who watched our first video. I really appreciate the engagement. I was able to respond to most, if not all, of the comments. I'm listening to you. Special thanks to ESP Poker, who's a fellow vlogger. You can find him in the comments of the first video or by searching on YouTube. He offered me a new deck of cards as an issue we had with the first video with them not being big enough or clear enough. I decided to address that issue by bringing on an editor. I think this video looks so much better. We put a lot of effort in. Go ahead, like, subscribe. And with that, we're going to jump right in, playing 1-3 at the Jack Casino in Cleveland. Bought in for 300. We're straddling $6 on the button for the first hand here. I've lost a few. I'm down to about 235 from that initial buy-in. This straddle means that action starts in the small blind and progresses towards me. Under the gun, +1 calls for 6 once it's folded to him. Middle position raises to 18. It's folded to me. I have ace-queen offsuit. Middle position has about 125 in their effective stack. I'm going to 3-bet. This is a strong holding, especially for the straddle and the button. I decide on 2.5x sizing, $46, on the gun +1 folds, and middle position shoves. I snap it off. I already made my decision. I was going to take down the pot right there or call a shove. $80 to win 180 more. Pretty easy. Probably the weakest holding I do this with. The runout's not bad. I ended up rivering the ace. He flips over kings, and we get home. So if you like the new editing for the video, please like and subscribe. A lot of effort went into this. That's why we took 2 months to make sure that I gave the best product I could possibly get out to you, and would really appreciate it. I'm excited to share the rest of the video with everyone. And with that, moving on to hand 2. Once again, straddling on the button. I said 6, but the dealer didn't hear me, so we're straddling for 10. Action is folded to under the gun, who calls 10. Under the gun +1 folds. Middle position calls. Cutoff folds. I 3-bet to 35 with the hooks. Pretty easy decision here. Once again, strong holding for a straddle on the button. Under the gun goes all in for 70 total, so 35 more dollars, not folding here. So when middle position folds, make the call. We turn him over, and 9-10 suited versus jacks. I'm pretty happy to see that 9-10 is what he decided to shove with there. We're racing. Good flop, though. He picks up some backdoor equity. End of the 10. Now he has the 7 as an out. But we dodge all bullets, get home, scoop the pot. Nothing to complain about. Another hand, not too much thinking, and winning. So that's always best case. Just getting it in and winning it pre-flop. But with that, moving on, hand number 3 in the big blind now. Under the gun folds. Under the gun +1 just flats, $3. Middle position folds. The cutoff raises to 13. Button folds, small blind folds. I look down at 5-3 of spades. I like these low suited connectors or suited 1 gappers. I go ahead and make the call on the big blind. And under the gun +1 calls as well. So we're 3 ways going to a flop. $40 in the pot. Flop comes 3, 4, 8. A pretty good flop for me, actually. I think I hit this a lot more often than the razor does. With the pair and some backdoor outs as well. I check it. Under the gun +1 leads out for 20, so could be considered a donk bet here. Cutoff calls. I feel like under the gun +1 is protecting an 8. I don't know necessarily what else could be there. Maybe something like ace deuce or ace 5. But this turn card is very interesting. Picking up the flush draw. I check again, hoping to get to the river cheap. Under the gun has different ideas, though. Under the gun +1 raises up to $80. The cutoff folds, and I think about this for a little bit. So it's a pretty big bet. He's been basically right under pot. I think I'm good if a spade comes. I think I'm good if a 3 comes. I don't know. Maybe queen 8 is protecting queen 8. Set of 8, sets of 4s. But 80 to win 180. I'm going to make the call here just because, for those reasons I stated earlier, I think I'm good if a 3 or a spade comes, possibly even if a 5 comes. So I make the call. hoping for a good river, and absolute brick. I don't think I can bluff at this, so I check, but he checks right behind. I don't know why he would check there. He flips over queen four, not what I would have expected at all. I don't know why he was afraid of that 10. Probably should have tried to get value out of me, but so be it. Look, can't get rid of my pairs when even with low pair there, didn't make the fold, ended up paying off 2 pair. So moving again, once again on the button, straddling for $6. We have small blind folding. The big blind raises to $15. Under the gun +1, and middle position all fold. The cutoff calls 15. I call 15. So we're heading to a flop 3 ways. Once again, pocket threes. I'm going to set mine most of the time, and especially make calls for 15 in position. I think this is also a favorable flop for me, to tell you the truth. Low, slightly disconnected cards. And as you can see here, I make the decision pretty quick after big blind checks. Cutoff bets 35, and I just call it off right away. Go into the turn. King of hearts. I think I have all kings in my range. I think it's a good card for me. Cutoff shoves though for 63 into a pot of 113 or 116. I don't know. This as a live read looking at him, he looked really nervous. I mean, he could have ace X of spades. He could have, maybe 3-4, something along those lines. I don't know, 6-4 if he's feeling aggressive. If he had ace king, would he really bet and then shove? It seems more like he was protecting on the flop. And like I said, just looking at him, I think I have a pretty decent read at him, and he does not look comfortable, does not want to call. And I decide I think I'm going to play the hero here with third pair and make the call. River comes another 7. He does not look happy about it. However, he turns over 8s. So this is a good point. Even with the live read, knowing or thinking that he's weak and he doesn't want to call her, which he said out loud is, I didn't want you to call there. Me perceiving his weakness is different than what he thought was weakness. So his 8s were a lot better than what I thought he had. And look at me paying him off with low pairs, trying to be a hero. So on to the very next hand, we are now in the cutoff. Pick up Jack 10 of clubs. Under the gun, raised to 11. It's folded to me. I call the 11, and big blind also calls $11. So another 3-way pot. Flop comes queen, 7 jack, 2 diamonds. I've got second pair and position. Big blind checks. Under the gun bets 20. This is an easy spot to make a call. Big blind folds. We're now heads up. Turns a blank. He checks it. I lead out for 30. There's a good chance that I have the best hand here. And he calls behind. So I'm a little confused about what's going on. The river is another 3. I think this is also a blank. He checks, but I also don't think I'm going to get called by anything worse than what I have. So I check as well, just hoping to get the showdown. I think it makes the most sense with second pair here. And he shows 10s. We scoop the pot. We were talking about how we were both pretty sure neither of us had a queen, which is right. But this is a decent pickup, especially when I was hurting down to 130 there. And we're back up to 200, trying to recoup some of those losses. For our 6th hand here, I'm in the big blind, and I look down at ace 5 of diamonds. Still right about where we were at in the previous hand, 184 to start. Under the gun calls 3. It's folded to the small blind, who raises the 35. It looks like a squeeze. I mean, 3 to 35 is kind of ridiculous. I think ace 5 of diamonds could be good here. And under the gun calls as well. So we're 3 ways. Flop comes 9-7-9, 2 diamonds. Small blind checks though. So I'm going to lead out. I'm going to semi-bluff this. nut flush draw here. Under the gun folds, and the small blind goes in the tank for a little bit, decides on calling the $60. It's looking a lot like maybe two overs, maybe a pocket pair that's lower than the nines. I don't think he would think this long with nines, and I don't think he was Hollywooding. So here we go to the turn. King of diamonds, we hit our nut flush, and he shoves. So he had me covered. I'm not folding 89 to win 300 or whatever it was, and he doesn't show his hand. I show the nut flush, and he said he had, I think, 8-9, which I don't know if that's what he had. I think it was more likely at ace king. Got the king, decided to maybe bluff the diamonds. I don't know, turn it into a bluff. Maybe he thought his hand was just a lot better than it was. He could have kings there, I guess. Don't think he has king 9, but pretty easy call. We're not getting to the turn to fold the nut flush. And scoop in another pot, and look, we're back up $100 from our initial buy-in. A little bit of a roller coaster ride today, so everybody strap in. It's going to be a lot of ups and downs. We're not catching great cards. I think I had a lot better hands in the first vlog, but I've decided to make some things happen by widening my range. I trust my post-flop play enough to play with people and play in a lot of different positions, especially in this 1-3 game. Waking up in the big blind with 9-10 offsuit. The button straddled $6. Small blind called, I call. Under the gun raises a 31. Under the gun +1. Middle position. Cutoff button all fold. Small blind calls and I call too. So we're 3 ways heading to the flop. Ace, king, jack. Not a great flop for us. Small blind checks, I check. And under the gun checks as well. So a little weird. I think if you're raising, how does this not hit you? You have an under pocket pair. Maybe you have like king 10. But not continuing does seem weird there. The small blind checks. I decide I'm going to lead out. I do have equity. If a queen comes that's not a club, I'll have the nuts. I'm not too terrified of the backdoor clubs either. So if the queen of clubs comes, I'm probably getting it in anyway. But under the gun decides to call after some deliberation, and small blind folds. We're heading to the river, which is another jack. I don't love this card. I don't hate this card. I think I need to bet to win this hand. There's no way that 10 high is going to be good at showdown. So it's really deciding how much should I bet. And I decide just a little bit over 50% pot. I think I wanted to make it look value-y, but large enough to make him consider. However, he snaps it off and turns over Jack 10. Probably the weakest hand I think he could possibly have in that spot. Pretty loose call, honestly, in my opinion, on the turn when he did not improve, and I played in flow. But, you know, sometimes that happens, and we get caught bluffing our effective stack down to 70. Not feeling great. We just won back all the money to lose it again. We have ace 9 of spades, straddling $15 on the button. I am steaming a little bit, I think, just from how dumb that last hand was to me at the time. And I decided just to shove it in, got the 70 in. It was folded to the cutoff who called the 15 and then called my shove. He turns over 7-8 though. So 2 overs. The 7's in the window, but the ace comes right behind it. The 9 on the turn gets us closer, and we dodge the a second 7 to get home. And no complaints, getting a double up. I think ace 9 suited isn't great. I would never suggest anybody. $70 can get you a tank of gas, nice dinner. Don't just go throwing it around. But in that case, I could be looked at as a pretty weak shove, but it worked out, so no complaints. Moving on to our 9th hand. On the button here, straddling another $6. look down at Jack 3 suited and playing a little wide. Like I said earlier, I'm going to play him when I get him, and getting them looks like Jack 3 suited apparently. It's small blind calls 6, big blind raises a 21. It's folded to me, and I decide to make the call on the button with Jack 3. Small blind also calls. We're 3 ways to the flop. That comes 10, 7, 10, 2 spades. I like the spades. There could be 10s out there. Small blind checks, big blind bets 25. I call, and the small blind calls as well. Going to the turn, we see the 4 of diamonds. I think this is a blank. Apparently everyone else does too, because it goes check, check. I'm gonna get it in here, semi-bluffing the spades. I think with my stack, with the $60 I'd left in my stack, it just made sense. But the small blind folds and big blind calls, I would prefer to take it down. It looks like I'm live though. He says he has 9-10, and we get home. Turning over the Jack 3 flush when he flops trips. Tough beat, but happy it's on my side. Playing a little crazy, and sometimes it works. I widened out. Like I said, not getting great hands this time. Last hand of the vlog, we're in the big blind, ace-4 offsuit. Action goes, under the gun folds, +1 raises to 10, middle position calls 10, folded to the small blind who calls, and I call. Flop comes 4, deuce, 9. It goes small blind check, I check, under the gun +1 continues for 25, middle position calls it, small blind folds, and I decide to make the call. I think this flop's not bad for me. 9s are definitely in the other ranges, but like I can't fold pairs apparently. So when I catch second pair, can't get rid of it. Turn comes an ace. I think this is my gin card. My hand's not gonna get any better in most cases on the river, so I'm gonna look to check raise. So I check, undergun +1 continues with 45. Middle position folds, and I am definitely raising here. I decide around 90% of pot, making it 150. I think there's a good chance I'll take this down. He could be continuing with many hands, maybe even like an ace king, ace queen, who just continued on the flop and then hit their ace. But undergun +1 shoves on me, so this is terrible. I feel like I have a pretty strong hand, but there's just no way I can be ahead. I have to call $110 more to win 574. I have to be right about 20% of the time, 1 to 5 on my money. I mean, ace 9 maybe. Guess 9s or deuces, but I just can't fold for the money. Make the call. Jack of diamonds comes at the end. And undergun +1 turns over aces. So the case ace gets him paid. I blocked aces. I would have never guessed aces. I honestly think the only way I could not have lost this much money is if I just didn't raise and flatted, and maybe the diamond could have scared me, or ace jack. But we're beat down to 45. Roller coaster of a day. Lost that 45 pretty quickly after that. I hope you enjoyed watching me win, lose, win again, lose it again, win it back, just to lose it all. I hope you enjoyed the improvements we made to the editing of the video. I think it looks so much better. I was so excited to share it with everyone. Go ahead, like, subscribe, leave a comment. We're listening, looking for ways to improve. A lot of effort went into this, so we'd appreciate the recognition. With that, take care. We'll see you next time.